you do for newcomers. For those of you online right now, I have to say ACCES is probably one of the best organizations out there, and we work very closely with them, and we've hired many candidates from there. Always a high caliber candidate. I'm always very impressed with the people that ACCES presents to us. So kudos to you, Sonia. Good job. Keep it up. So today I wanted to talk a bit about RBC Insurance. Many of you out there may be familiar with the bank, RBC, the bank side of things. We all fall under what's called RBC Financial Group, and RBC Insurance is a branch or a division of RBC Financial Group as a whole. If we could go to the next screen there, that'd be great, Sonia. There we go. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the company. So RBC Insurance, we do have a number of lines of insurance that we do sell. We sell travel, life insurance, health, home and auto insurance, reinsurance products, which is actually insurance for insurance companies. There are only a handful of carriers. I think there's only about 4 or 5 in Canada that are licensed to do that, and we are one of them. We also sell business insurance and creditor insurance. And we have more than 5 million clients in Canada and the US and internationally. As I said, we are a division of the Royal Bank of Canada, and we actually are the largest Canadian bank-owned insurance company. We have about 2,600 employees working globally, and we are the first kind of this type of insurance company, a bank insurance company that has retail branches across the country. The insurance head office is actually located in Mississauga, and the banking head office is located in Toronto, but the insurance head office is located in Mississauga, and we share a tower, 2 towers with the bank. There's about 6,600 people working at that location in Mississauga. It's like a little city on its own. All right, so let's go on to the next screen then. So what I wanted to talk about is just what insurance is all about. It is going to be a very high level description. I actually wanted to spend more time answering your questions. So this is just going to be, as I said, a very high level description of what insurance is about, what we offer, something for you to think about, and then we're going to open up the floor so that you can ask me your questions. So as I said, we've got business insurance, group health and dental. This is a huge area that we're growing into, selling insurance to employers so that they can provide insurance for their employees. We are, I believe we're the #1 carrier for travel insurance in Canada as well. And as I said, we've also talked about home and auto insurance. So we do insure properties, homes, protect your car if you're involved in an accident. We also offer insurance for business owners for their businesses. And so what you have to realize, insurance is just, it's much more than just home and auto insurance. Pretty much anything out there does require insurance, and there's a line of insurance out there to ensure that the risk is mitigated and that you are protected. Most of our insurance is written directly, so our agents deal directly with the parties. We do have some third-party distributors as well. All right, next screen. So insurance here in Canada falls basically into 2 different areas. On the left side there, you'll see property and casualty, and that covers auto insurance, home, property insurance, travel insurance, business insurance. So the bricks and mortar, as we call it, physical things. Then on the right side there, you'll see life and health insurance. And this is a growing area within RBC Insurance. We're really expanding the different types and products of life insurance that we provide, and health insurance. So we have disability, long-term, critical illness. So life insurance and health insurance is insurance that you purchase if you become sick or injured and you can't work. This type of insurance will protect you for that. It assists you in paying for your mortgage. It'll help you in any treatments that you may need, whether it be with a doctor, physiotherapist, taking a taxi to an appointment, things like that. So we have adjusters that assist you with your treatment plan and get you back to where you were before. Life and health insurance is fascinating. It is much more complex than property and casualty or home and auto insurance, but incredibly rewarding. A lot of people start off in property and casualty and then make the move over into life insurance. But I'm sure there are many of you on the line right now who do come from a life insurance background from back home. And definitely those skill sets, absolutely transferable. I could give you a policy and you'd probably know how to read it. Just take a little time, but you could figure out what was covered. So not knowing exactly all the intricate details of our policies here isn't a big deal. If you understand, how sales work, if you understand how relationship building works, you love working with people, then making a move or considering something on the insurance side is something that you probably might want to look into. We also have, analytical roles, and we'll talk about those if we can go to the next screen there. So these are roles that traditionally people think about that are specific to insurance. So sales, everybody knows sales, and that's probably the number one thing they think of. But it's much more than that. Actuary roles. If you love working with math, computers, you're analytical, actuaries live with statistics. That's what it's all about. Appraisers, they will go out and assess the damage to a property or to a vehicle. They'll see how much it costs. They'll write estimates up, and then they'll get back to the adjuster and the insurance company to let them know, okay, I've looked at the car and I figure it's about $3,000 worth of damage. And then the adjuster will look at the estimate, make sure all's in order, and approve the repairs. A broker is like a salesperson, an agent. Brokers work independently on their own, and their job is to review other insurance companies to see who has the best rate for their client. So they're constantly in touch with multiple insurance companies. We are a direct writer. So our agents are RBC employees and they work for us, and those are the only policies that they review. So you have the option of either working with a direct writer like RBC or going for your Rebo license and working at a brokerage. And then you're viewing all different options in that from other insurance companies. Claims investigator is like a loss adjuster. So these people will take the initial notice of loss, take the details of what has happened, and review the policy, see what type of coverages the individual has, and then let them know, okay, you're covered for this, or we're not covered for this. They will set up the repairs for the vehicle. They will send contractors out to repair homes. They will make those calls to doctors on life and health claims, disability claims, set you up for treatments. They will pay the bills. They will investigate the claims, ask those questions, interview people. So claims adjuster is almost like a case manager. Again, you'd like to help people in times of need, relationship building skills, good communication skills. As with pretty much all of these roles, communication skills, soft skills are key. A loss adjuster, again, it's another term that companies may use. It essentially is a claims role. A loss control specialist, it's like a risk manager. The two are very similar. So what you're doing there is reviewing processes and how companies have set up their processes and programs, and you're able to identify problems that may potentially occur. And this is what we're going to do to ensure that this loss doesn't occur. Let's change our process here. Let's do this. Let's do that. People who are in a risk management role or loss control specialist position are usually individuals who have been in the industry for a long time. So they know where those red flags are and what they should be looking for. So you could start off in an entry-level position and then eventually make your way into a risk management role or even a fraud role. Fraud's very interesting for claims. You're reviewing the loss. If something doesn't make sense, digging deeper, you're working with the police, you're working with investigators, It really is a fascinating area. An underwriter. This is another standard role in the insurance industry. Again, your relationship builder. So you're working with the actuaries, you're working with the claims adjusters, you're working with the sales agents. You love developing relationships, you're a good decision maker, and yes, you do like working with math too. What an underwriter does when somebody applies for a policy, the agent sends the application into the underwriter, and the underwriter then reviews the application. Is this a good risk? Will RBC benefit from this? Or is this too high of a risk for us to take on? And so the underwriter will decide whether or not this is a good risk for the company to take. And if it's something that they want to take on, but they're worried that it is a bit of a higher risk, but we still can do it, they'll just increase the premium on it to make sure that they're covered, the company is covered properly for it. So an underwriter does have some strong decision-making skills, but also a lot of responsibility too. And all these roles work very closely together. And as I said, these are your standard roles in the insurance industry that people tend to think of right away. And if we can go to the next screen, we're going to look at some roles that are non-traditional. So as I said, a lot of people think of your standard claims, underwriting, sales, but insurance is much more than that. Insurance is a business, just like anything else. Anything that a business needs to operate or function, insurance is the same way. I recruit for about 75 different positions in RBC Insurance, and less than 5% are sales. So there's a lot going on. As you can see from the screen here, this is just a very small portion of what we have. But we have our call center positions, we have product development, project managers, business analysts, a department that deals strictly with renewals, quality assurance, audit, wholesalers, marketing, communications, as I said, fraud. My fraud team is actually comprised of senior adjusters and retired police officers and detectives. They understand, what they're looking for. I also have a team of doctors and nurses as well. We hire doctors and nurses to assist with our disability claims, to assist our adjusters. So when somebody puts a claim through and a company has presented us with a treatment plan with a client, and then the adjuster looks at this treatment plan and they're not really sure whether or not this plan works with the nature of the injury or the nature of the illness, they can go to one of our doctors or nurses and they can review that. So any of you out there with a medical background, I know coming to a new country to renew your license can be incredibly expensive and also incredibly difficult and time consuming, but you have all this fantastic knowledge. Use it in another capacity, make the transition into insurance so you're able to use that medical knowledge and training in the insurance industry. Another area is underwriting as well. Again, our underwriters for our life policies are reviewing the applications, they're reviewing the medical reports of these individuals. So you might be dealing with, a 50-year-old male who smokes. What are the chances of this person developing cancer? Things like that. So with that medical training, that medical background, it helps you understand what the risks are. As I said, there's so many different positions out there. Any type of business, or rather any type of role that a business has, insurance will have the exact same thing. So I'm just looking at the time now, and I see we're coming up to almost 11:20. And as I said, I'd like to leave as much time as possible open for questions and also allow Sonia her wrap up. So I think that's the last screen, is it not, Sonia? Yes, it is. Alrighty, so that's good. So if we can open it up to questions now, that would be great. And then, as I said, it'll still allow Sonia time to wrap up, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time so we can finish by noon.
Thank you, Diana. So everyone, you can type your questions into the Q&A tab, and once I see them there, I can start taking them up. Diana, can you focus on, are you hiring for these roles at the moment?
Great question. So yes, we do have a number of roles on our system right now. Because of COVID, I have been told though that coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we will have many more positions. available. That being said, our call centers are constantly hiring. Entry-level positions to our call centers, no previous insurance experience is required. You are trained on everything. Also on the bank side as well. You're trained on the product, you're trained on everything. It's a very comprehensive training program. The only place where licensing is required is if it's a sales position. And that's both on the bank side and insurance. But with the insurance, you do need an other than life license, OTL, if you're to sell home and auto insurance, or your LLQP, and that's the license you would need in order to sell life insurance. We will assist you in obtaining those licenses as well. We do have trainers on staff, so we do provide training for that. And then again, training on the products. But our call centers are always hiring. So what I would suggest to everybody, if RBC is a company that you're interested in, go onto the website at rbc.com, go to our careers section, and then you can actually set up a career alert. And this is actually a pretty neat thing. Depending on the parameters that you place for your alert, if a position comes up in your area of interest, you'll actually receive an email and it'll tell you, Carolyn, posting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have a look. You may be interested in it. And then you can decide whether or not it's a position that you might be interested in. I still encourage you to, view our website and look at it every couple of days because the postings do change. But there can be literally hundreds of positions on the website at one time, which can be intimidating. So let the system do some of the searching for you. But I would encourage you to set up a career alert because, as I said, the positions are constantly changing and coming up. And traditionally with the ACCESS group, we usually do have a number of individuals who come from a banking background. Again, I just want to stress that many of the skill sets and the experience that you have on the banking side, we are looking for on the insurance side as well. So we do have financial planners, we do have financial analysts. And as I said, actuary roles, things like that. We definitely do have analytical roles within insurance that you could easily, make a transition into. Again, looking for those transferable skills. So keep your options open. Look at areas that you might not necessarily think, because I'm positive that you'll be able to see, oh, I can do that. I can do that. Definitely, there is a lot of opportunity here. It is quieter. It will be picking up. But that being said, there still is a lot of opportunity and a lot of roles with your transferable skills. Any questions up yet, Sonia?
Yeah, there's lots of questions here.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry.
Yeah, what kind of profile would someone need to be a policy admin?
Okay, so policy admin is a back office role. So what's happened is the policy has been purchased and we're going to be honoring it. And we now need to put it into our system. So the applications, after the underwriter approves it, sends it to policy admin. So it's a back office role, attention to detail, previous office experience, clerical experience, administrative experience. That's all you need. As I said, we will train you on the product, we'll train you on the system, but attention to detail and being organized, because it is a very busy department. Applications are constantly coming in. So attention to detail and organized and, previous office experience is considered an asset.
Thank you. And for anyone to pursue a career in insurance, what kind of courses do you recommend them to take?
Okay, great question. When you're on the website, have a look at the must-haves. You'll see on all the job descriptions, not only within RBC, but with other companies as well. They'll talk about must-have and nice-to-have. If you're targeting a certain area or a certain company, look at the must-haves and you'll see what programs or applications they're looking for. The nice-to-haves are just that, a nice-to-have. It's not necessary, but it always helps. With insurance, as I said, most of our roles, no previous licensing or requirements are required. We will train you on everything. That being said, if it's a sales role, as I said, we talked about the sales license. There is an organization in Canada called the Insurance Institute of Canada, and most of the insurance companies in Canada are members of this program, or not this program, this institute. This is the educational sector of the insurance industry. So they are the ones that also assist you in obtaining your licenses. All the courses pertaining to the insurance industry come from this organization. And the certification that you would obtain is called the CIP, the Chartered Insurance Professional. For entry-level positions, it's not recommended that you have, you don't have to have your certification. But anybody who is interested in getting into insurance, and as they progress throughout the years there, it is recommended to, start taking these courses and to obtain your designation. I believe it's 10 courses now. And you don't have to do it all at once. You can take 2 or 3 courses a year. But if you are applying for an insurance company and they see that you are enrolled in the program, that definitely will help to push you up through the masses. Because somebody will say, hey, you know what? So-and-so's taking a property and casualty or liability course. It shows that you're dedicated, that you're interested and serious about insurance. And the other thing I would say is you don't have to take all of the courses before you apply to positions. If you start taking one, make sure you put it on your resume and just indicate in progress. A lot of larger companies, us included, can assist you in paying for these courses. So if you have 1 or 2 courses under your belt and then you join RBC and you want to continue taking your CIP courses, what you would do is you would take the next course, pay for it. When you pass it, we reimburse you for it. So we help you obtain your CIP, your Chartered Insurance Professional designation. And I know a lot of the larger companies out there do that as well. So generally, in answer to your question, we like to see the CIP. It's nice if you're taking it. It's not necessary. The only ones that we're looking for essentially are your sales ones, because that one you do have to have in order to sell. And again, good customer service skills, good relationship building skills, and good listening skills. These people are phoning you at a time of need. So if you like listening to people and helping them, again, sometimes they just want to talk, and that's okay. That's okay. But they need to know that you're there and that you're empathetic. And definitely it'll make your life easier and it'll make them a very happy customer. Because with RBC, it's all about client service. We really pride ourselves on that. And we really take our time to ensure that those are the type of people that we hire. Even if it's back office, you're not speaking directly to a client, or it's an analytical role, again, like risk management, you're not speaking to the client. Still, your client are your business colleagues, your business partners. And we want to make sure that everybody is respectful of everybody, because we all know we're busy and we have a lot to do. But it always helps when everybody works together as a cohesive unit, as a team. Okay. Next question.
When people submit resumes for RBC Insurance, does it go directly to a human or does it go through an ATS?
Great question. Both. All right. So with RBC Insurance, I would say most of the time it is a person that sees your resume. I would say probably 99.9% of the time. RBC Financial Group as a whole has about 150 recruiters. 7 are dedicated to insurance and the rest are for the bank. I know the bank uses the system a lot. So they program certain words to look for, keywords within your resume. On the insurance side, we have that capability, but the majority of us don't use it. We like to look at all the resumes, and also we don't have the volume that of resumes coming through that the bank does. Last year, RBC Financial Group as a whole, so that's all the divisions of the bank, received just under 1 million applications. That's a lot. So yes, more so on the bank side for call center positions, things like that, they do use their computers. But here on the insurance side, we tend to look at them. The applications go into an inbox of the posting that you apply to, and then the recruiter will go into their inbox and start looking at the resumes. Anybody who catches the recruiter's eye, they will put into the recruiter folder. Anybody who they feel is clearly not qualified for the position, they will then put them into the non-selected folder. You will be able to follow your progress. You are able to bring your application up and see the status of your application. So you will be able to see if you are still being entertained for the role or if you're now in the non-selected. The reason we did this is because given the volume of applicants we have, unfortunately, we just can't possibly get back to everybody to let them know that they are no longer being considered. So we've given them access to their system so they can follow that. That being said, if you are ever interviewed by a recruiter or interviewed by the business, you will always receive a response back on the status of your application, whether or not you're continuing to the next stage or if it's stopping there. Somebody will get back to you because we have reached out to you. So my advice to you on companies, and if you're applying to a role like maybe on the bank side and they do use the computer, make sure you cater your resume to the role that you're applying to. Look at the terminology that they've used in the job description. For instance, the term adjudicator, adjuster, and analyst are all used interchangeably. So see what the job description uses and you use that same term in your resume, because that will get the recruiter's attention. Also, too, if that word has been programmed into the computer, it will catch the computer's attention. All right. Further to catering your resume to the role, if you're applying to a customer service oriented role, really beef up that customer service piece. And for those of you that come from a project management background, or business analyst background, or a programmer background, you may be thinking, okay, well, you know what? I didn't really deal with people. I dealt with computers all the time, I dealt with programs in that. You still have your colleagues that you're working with. You still have your stakeholders. You need to keep them informed. These are the things that you want to talk about on your resume. Don't just indicate the projects or the different programs or applications that you've worked with. Talk about your ability to keep your business partners in touch. Let them know what's going on with the project. Let them know, the status, things like that. Talk about your resume should talk about your accomplishments rather, and what you've done, things like that. And if you're applying to an analytical role, beef up that analytical piece. Talk about different programs or different ways you've tweaked certain types of reports and how successful it became, or now we increased production by 46%, things like that. So catering your resume to the role that you're applying to is key, and using the terminology that the business has used for the job description helps as well. So that way, whether your application is going into a computer or into the inbox of a human being, it will resonate with them. Okay, next question.
Next question is, how many of these roles are remote?
Oh, great question. Right now, pretty much everything. I said at the beginning here, RBC Insurance head office is in Mississauga. There are 2 towers there. Normally we have over 6,000 people working between the 2 towers. Right now, there's about 100 people working in there. That's it. And these are individuals whose roles require them to be in the office for whatever reason. Right now, absolutely everybody else is working remotely. Now, we will continue to work remotely, our call centers as well, until the province says it's safe to open up and come back. That being said, the company realizes that we do work quite well remotely. Do we all have to come back? So that's something that they're looking at right now. And it's not just us. A lot of companies now are realizing this, and they're looking at the structure and how things are set up. Do we really need 5 buildings in downtown Toronto? Can we work with less? because so many people are working from home right now. So yes, I would say like 99.9% of our employees are working from home right now. That being said, the intent is that people will be coming back. How they come back, I'm not sure. It could be call centers could be full-time back in the office again, or they could be half in the office and half from home. And then there are some people who will just be working from home. And when this is going to happen, that's a great question too. We will not be bringing anybody back until the province says it's safe to do so. In fact, the 5 banks have spoken with the Premier of Ontario and told him that we will probably be the last industry going back, because we realize that there's so many companies out there where people are taking the GO train in or the subway in, and we want to keep everything as light as possible, to allow individuals to take the GO, to take the subways, to go up and down the elevators and in their buildings safely. So once things settle down, then you're going to start seeing the banks will start going back into their offices. I've been told that I probably won't be going back into the building, maybe only once in a while when we need to for a meeting, but I've been told that my role will probably be working virtually. Again, if I do want to work in the office, absolutely I can. I've been told that they won't be making final decisions for HR until next year. So the earliest I'm going back is next year. That being said, the call centers, as I said, they're looking at that right now. I have to say, RBC is really good with their staff, accommodating their needs, what they like. So they have reached out to all employees, asking them, do you want to work at home? Do you want to work in the office? Or do you want to do half and half? For the call center positions, as I said, we're working with the assumption that they'll be coming back, and the majority will. Anybody who is working from home right now, and the role is normally based out of the office, they will be given 3 to 4 weeks notice in case they have to make babysitting arrangements, things like that, to let them know in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'd like you to come back into the office again. So they will provide you time to accommodate any needs, any changes that you need to make. But right now, everybody is working from home. The intent is people will be coming back in the office. When that will be, I don't know. It is going to be dependent upon the Premier and how they open up the various cities in that. So work with the assumption that you will be going into the office again eventually, but we do anticipate there will be changes. Next question.
Life insurance and living benefits advisor, is that a salaried position?
Great question. We do have multiple, or rather different types of sales positions, not only on the life side, but also with the home and auto side. Our call center positions are salary based. So we do have some agents that sell life insurance in our call centers, and those are all salary based because these are incoming calls. Then our retail branches, so these are the branches that you might see scattered throughout the city, the buildings. A lot of them are quite close to the bank branches, and some of them are actually right next door to the bank branches. Those people that work in there or that normally work in there, those roles are a combination of salary and commission because it is inbound calls, but they also work with the walk-in business. And then the more senior life roles, those ones are what we call field sales positions. So these individuals actually go out and drum up their own business. They're out there doing the cold calling, setting up events, getting to meet, potential clients and that. And those ones are mostly commission based. So for those of you who are interested in getting into a sales position and don't come from a sales background, my best advice to you would be to start off in a call center, start off in a salary-based role. So at least you have some steady income coming in. And then as you get more comfortable in the position, develop your own style, then you can move into the intermediate role. And that's a combination of salary and commission. And as you get even better and gain more experience and build up that data pool, or rather database of clients, then you can move into a mostly commissioned role. And that's where the big money is. But again, it does take a lot of work, and you don't have that set income. You pretty much make your own income. But as I said, that's where the big bucks are and where it can get quite lucrative. Next question.
Can you share the link, like where can people apply for call center roles for insurance?
Okay, so you're going to go to rbc.com. You'll see a tab there that says careers. And then you can click on the drop down for the parameters and just click on call center. And then all the call center positions will come up. So you don't have to go searching for all of them. Now, with our call center positions, we have two different types of roles. We have sales roles and we have service-oriented roles. So with the sales role, yes, you're going to be selling the product. With the service-oriented role, the product has already been sold and now the customer is phoning in because they have questions about it or they need to make changes. So when you're reading the job description, if it says you must be licensed, you know it's a sales role. If it says willing to obtain your license, again, it's a sales role. So willing to obtain means you don't have to have it when you start. There'll be a class, they'll train you on it, they'll help you get your license, and then you sell. If it says that the license is nice to have, then it's a service-oriented role. So the product, as I said, has already been sold. You don't have to have your license. There is some cross-selling involved in these service roles. So you're helping the client, answering any questions they may have, and you may say, hey, you know, I noticed you got a cottage over here. You know, have you ever thought about, you know, insurance for cottages, things like that. So you can talk about other products, and that is part of the responsibility of the role, but you're not actually selling it. If they decide to purchase this additional coverage or upgrade, then a sales agent will take over and complete the sales portion of it. Next question.
How many pages should a candidate prepare their resume for RBC Insurance roles?
Okay. Ideally, and it's not just RBC Insurance, but just in the industry as a whole, ideally your resume should be about 2 pages. For those of you who've been working a long time like I have, sometimes it might be a little hard to get it into 2 pages. I wouldn't go more than 3. Okay. When you start getting past that, you're putting in too much detail and you're losing the person. A recruiter will spend an average of 10 to 20 seconds per resume, and then they move on to the next one. So what you want to do is have your most recent job, your current job at the top, and then you go back chronologically. Give me the bullet points as to, you know, what your accomplishments were in this role, what your responsibilities, again, were in this role. And then just go back, then your previous role underneath that, your previous role for that, underneath that. If you want to add a cover letter, that's fine. Today, it's not as big of a deal as it was, say, 10 years ago. Traditionally, we don't read cover letters anymore unless something doesn't make sense on the resume. For instance, let's say I see that you live in Montreal and you're applying to a role in Mississauga. So I'm thinking now, does this person know the role is in Mississauga? Do they plan on working from Montreal? Are they moving to Mississauga? Then I might go look at a cover letter to see if there's anything in there that says, I'm moving to the Greater Toronto area, so that's why I'm looking for jobs in this area, something like that. The only time I would recommend or strongly recommend that you do attach a cover letter is if you're applying to a communications role. They want to see your writing style then. So then it's a good idea. But today, as I said, traditionally, just stick with the resume itself. Ideally 2 pages, no more than 3. Cover letters aren't as much of a deal as they were, say, as I said, 10 years ago, unless you're applying to a communications role or a marketing role, something like that. They want to have a feel for your writing style and your skill sets. Next question.
Do you need to have experience in the insurance or finance sector to apply for any of these jobs?
Great question. For our entry-level positions, no. Again, looking for good customer service skills, relationship building skills. If you do require any type of certification or previous experience, it will tell you in the job description. Traditionally, the intermediate and senior roles, yes, they will be looking for that because they are more specialized. But for our entry-level call center positions, absolutely not. They're looking for that good customer service skill, that right mindset, and you will be trained on everything else.
Is there room for growth to other positions if you were to start in the call center?
Oh, this is a great question. Absolutely. RBC Insurance and just RBC Financial Group as a whole truly does believe in employee development and growth. Last year, I hired about 250 people. 40% of my hires were internal transfers. The majority of them came from the call center. So we hire individuals in the call center with the knowledge and the intent that you will be moving into another role. I've hired so many people, to RBC who have their MBAs, their project management designations, things like that. They start in the call center. We ask that you work there for at least 18 months. That way you get a feel for the product, the culture, the client. And as I said, it really helps in your understanding of the product. After 18 months, and this is in your manager's mandate, your manager will sit down with you and say, Bob, where do you want to go from here? What would you like to do? And Bob may say, you know what? I've always kind of been interested in marketing. Great. Your manager will actually arrange a job shadow for you in the marketing department. So you get to know what that role is like, what it's all about, but more importantly, they get to know you. And it gives you an opportunity to network and sell yourself. So when a position does come up in that area, they'll say, hey, you know what? Bob's done a couple job shadows in here. He's a good guy, asked some really good questions. I see he's applied to the position. Let's bring him in for an interview. So with a lot of these large corporations, it's all about networking. So as I said, we bring you into call center positions with the intent that we want you to move into another role. Half my managers in the call center will phone me, Di, I've got a new team of people here. My goal is to have everybody in another role within the next 2 years. And that's how they work. And then you start making moves throughout the company. 40% internal transfers is huge. Absolutely. And I have to say, we're very proud of those stats. Next question.
What would you tell someone who's coming from an engineering background?
Okay, great. It depends what area of engineering you're coming from. Absolutely, we're looking at transferable skills. For instance, I was speaking to somebody who the other day from an mechanical engineering, or no, this was, mechanical engineering, but understands the physics of things. So for accident reconstruction, property claims, things like that, structural integrity, understanding things like that. These are all transferable skills, and these are skill sets that we're looking for in our appraisers, in our adjusters, things like that. Those with strong mathematical backgrounds. Again, underwriting, analysts, data analytics, that's a huge area. We have an entire department of data scientists, and that's all they work with is big data. There are definitely so many opportunities. It's a matter of looking at your resume and then us identifying what area would be suitable for you. That would be the easiest transition for you. But absolutely, we hire engineers all the time, for sure. Next question.
Could you provide an insight on the insurance advisor's role again?
Sure. So the insurance advisor, so this is a sales, traditionally a sales type of position, but we also have a service role. So with the insurance advisor, if it's a sales oriented position, the customer phones in and says, oh, I see RBC has insurance. I'm interested in it. So it's all done on the queue. And you talk about the product and you will actually quote, get the information from them and provide them with a quote. as to how much the insurance will cost per year. We also have a service-oriented side where, again, it's all on the queue. So either you'll be working again from home or in the office there, and the insured phones in, has purchased a product and says, hey, Di, I have a question about this, or I'd like to make a change on my policy, or what can I do about this situation or this type of scenario? So it is all done on the phone, over the phone, in a queue environment. They do measure you on your stats, your talk time. They also rate the calls as well. They do record the phone calls, and we do have quality assurance rating your call, your style with the individual. Did you offer all the products and talk about all the topics that we ask you to talk about in that particular type of call? So certain calls will generate certain types of conversations. So you're rated on all of that. And then, as I said, if you're doing well, we always have the option of, you being promoted to supervisor, team leader. You can go into process analysis. Is there something that we can streamline, something that we can do better? Because you've been on the floor for, say, 2 years, so you see what works, you see what doesn't work. You can move into the business analyst world. That's what I did. For myself, I started off as a claims adjuster. From there, I moved into quality assurance, monitoring phone calls, auditing files. And then I became a trainer. So I taught the new hires. From there, I became a business analyst, streamlining processes and procedures. Who better to do that than somebody who's actually worked the front line? From there, I made the move over into HR. So now I'm using my insurance knowledge and experience in a totally different way, but my hand is still in insurance. So all of these roles have been in the insurance industry. Next question.
The other than life agent exam, is that required for any of these roles?
The other than life is only required for a sales position. If you're interested in a sales role, selling home and auto insurance, then yes, you must have this license. Now, sometimes we require that you have the license before you apply. And in that case, we need somebody who can hit the ground running. And then we also have trainers that are available. So if there is a training class available, then we say willing to obtain, because then we'll assist you in obtaining the license. We will train you. But sometimes it'll say you must already have it. It all depends on whether or not we have any trainers available. But yeah, OTL is just for the sales for home and auto, and that's it. That's the only place it's required.
Is RBC Insurance hiring right now? Are they conducting interviews online? And if so, what platform are they using?
Yeah, great question. So yes, we still are hiring. We've been hiring throughout all of COVID. It is a little quieter, as I said, yes, but we definitely still are hiring. And as I said, things are starting to pick up. So traditionally, after you apply for a position and the recruiter sees something that they like, the recruiter will then forward the resumes to the hiring manager, and the two of them will sit down and say, okay, out of these 50 people that are here, I think we're interested in looking at these 30 people. So for the call centers, an assessment will be sent out to you. If you pass the assessment, then you'll receive a phone call from the recruiter, and it's a telephone interview. Now, on the banking side, it'll be a group interview because, as I said, they literally have so many applicants coming through. All the interviews now are done via WebEx. All right. So instead of coming in face-to-face interview with the hiring manager, you would just be conducting a virtual interview via WebEx. The bank is doing that as well, as I said, because the bank is literally hiring hundreds of people every month for their call centers. They do group interviews. So, they'll have one facilitator there, and there'll be 5 or 6 applicants in the call. And, they'll be doing some role playing, things like that. So most companies are doing their interviews virtually now. So my best advice to you is, if you are on a virtual call, whether it's a one-on-one or in a group interview, just make sure that they know that you're there. Make sure that that passion comes through, because all they're seeing is your face, right? They don't have the rest of your body language to fall back on. Make sure your background looks nice, that your camera is angled properly. So set this up before. If you're doing it from your bedroom, make sure your bed is made. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and they're doing it from their bedroom. The bed is unmade. It's just a mess. And I just can't get past that. I'm just staring at that messy bed. And I'm thinking, if you're on the phone with one of our clients and you're working from your bedroom, which is fine, absolutely fine, please make sure it's all clean and presentable. So yes, all the interviews now are being conducted virtually via WebEx. We will send you the link, and then you, just like we've done today, and then you click on that and begin the interview. So make sure your surroundings are good, the lighting is good, the camera angle is good, and you know that what you're wearing, the colors are bright enough that they see you. These are all little things, but they do make a big difference. And as I said, look into the camera, smile, show that you're interested, show that you're engaged. That will come through, and that'll definitely resonate with the person interviewing you. Next question.
And are there separate RBC insurance offices in the GTA? And if so, do you know how many there are?
Yeah, so we have our retail branches. I'm guessing that's what they mean. I'll answer both ways. If it's retail branches that you're referring to, like in the GTA, yes. How many there are, I don't know. I know there's got to be somewhere between 50, I don't know, 30 to 50. I'm not sure right now how many there are. But if it's the working center, excuse me, like I said, our head office, there's the one in Mississauga, and then we do have some insurance roles downtown Toronto at one of the other offices that we have right across from City Hall. So those are the two locations for insurance. And then, as I said, we have retail branches scattered throughout the greater Toronto area. Actually, what am I saying? It's probably got to be about 120. Yeah, that's right. It's got to be about 100, over 100 in the GTA. Absolutely. Yeah, so we do have retail branches scattered around. Really, if you drive around, you'll probably see many of the branches there. On the job descriptions, an address will be indicated there. You'll see the street address and which city it's in. Next question.
Thank you, Diana. We're actually gonna start wrapping up here, but maybe you can ask answer one of these questions here. Absolutely. Are you only recruiting in the GTA or outside of the GTA as well?
No, I recruit nationally. So, and the company is looking nationally. So right across Canada. And that's why, look at the province, you'll see the province, you'll see the address. So we are recruiting right across the country right now. And we always do, yes.
That is great to know. Thank you so much. And would you like to say anything before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say thank you again for allowing me to speak with your group here. And for those of you online, I mean, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. Keep going to these networking sessions that ACCESS provides. Get to know the employers, get to know the people that are working there. Find out what options are available. ACCESS is opening so many doors for you, and know that your skill sets and your experience are all relevant, even though they may come from other countries. For the majority of these roles, you do not require Canadian experience. You might hear people say that, but I know where we're concerned, we recognize that many of these skill sets and experiences are transferable. All you need to do is actually read and learn the product. But what you have from within, I can't teach you that. And that's why please don't diminish your experience and your knowledge and you know what you've gained and what you're bringing to the table. It's all relevant. And I know that anybody would be very lucky to have all of you working for our companies. You know, the fact that you're on your way here and many of you are here, that's an accomplishment in itself. That takes a lot of courage to leave your home country. So I do commend you, and I know that there are definitely a lot of opportunities out here. It is a little difficult right now, but just keep persevering, keep applying. Something will come through. Absolutely. Thank you.